In his end-of-the-year address, Russian President Vladimir Putin touched on a number of subjects, including the sanctions placed on the country by the West. RT's Murad Gazdiev has that report from Moscow.
The president started by acknowledging that these are hard times for Russia, and central to that is the crisis in Ukraine, the civil war in the east, the events in Crimea, which have all helped dig a trench between Russia and the West. And there's all sorts of friction now, political, economic, and sanctions. Sanctions, by the way, which Vladimir Putin says were coming anyway, and Ukraine proved a convenient excuse.
Speaking of sanctions, it's not just a nervous reaction of the U.S. and their allies to our position on the coup in Ukraine or even the so-called Crimean Spring. I'm sure that even if this did not happen, they would come up with another excuse to hold back Russia, to influence Russia, to use it in their own interests.
Vladimir Putin also said that whenever Russia grows strong, whenever it grows powerful enough to stand up for its own interests, invariably the same tactic comes into play, where the West tries to contain Russia, to weaken it, and sometimes directly interfering in internal Russia's affairs or meddling in relations between Russia and its neighbors.
I have not accidentally mentioned our American friends, as they always influence our relationship with our neighbors, direct or off the stage. Sometimes you don't know whom it's better to talk to governments or the countries, or directly to their American patrons and sponsors.
And the lesson that we must learn from all of this, Vladimir Putin says, is less reliance on the West, less reliance on imports, and more dependence on domestic production, on domestic businesses. And the president actually listed a whole list of different measures that they're going to take to help small and medium-sized businesses in Russia flourish.
I propose fixing the current tax conditions for the next 4 years, and not to come back to this question and not change them. Along with it, it's necessary to realize the decisions already made on alleviating the tax burden, above all for those who are just starting their work. As we have agreed, for small enterprises which register for the first time, a 2-year tax relief will always be given. Also, startups will get benefits. I also propose to launch a full amnesty for capitals returning to Moscow. I insist, a full amnesty.
So all in all, a very ambitious speech, very ambitious plans, and President Putin called on people to stay united if Russia is to achieve these difficult goals.
That was RT's Murad Gazdiev reporting from Moscow.